Welcome, James. Just sharing a few things. There goes old Bessie Vix. Welcome in. Make sure to hit that like button. Share this on social media. Let's try to get some people in here tonight. Yo, Darren J. Welcome in. Driver. Project M41. Billy. Welcome in. Fantastic. Let's get that intro playing. There's a lot of people already starting. You guys was just trying to share my stuff. All right, so I appreciate everybody tuning in. I'm XRP Future Millionaire. I have a couple things before I know I'm going to keep you from watching the charts, but there's two things now that I have everybody's attention that I really want you to watch to understand what's transpiring right now. So I can't see this because of all the comments. Oh, there it is.
Talking about it a lot today.
Because we all need to learn. It all ties in. So now that I have your attention while we're waiting for everybody to get in here before I go on the charts, I got two small videos.
As we were just talking about with Rick Newman, inflation is an acute problem for consumer sentiment right now, and it's being felt everywhere. We've been talking about it a lot today. Executives from Chipotle, from Taco Bell talking about inflation and the effects that it's having on their businesses. How should it affect how you're thinking as an investor? Francisco Vito is with us, head of quantitative research and portfolio manager at FM Investments. And Francisco, it's especially good to talk to you ahead of tomorrow's CPI number, which is expected to be another hot read on inflation. So how are you factoring it into your investment decisions? And are you expecting it to be at this elevated pace for the foreseeable future?
Well, thanks for having me, Julie. I do expect for the foreseeable future to stay elevated around 7%, maybe go up to 8%, but not much more than that. I think that what we experience is basically a supply chain disruption. It's a complicated problem, as probably mentioned. But in my opinion, you didn't see the inflation back in the 90s, right? And the big difference is that, globalization, right? We don't talk about that much. It's taken for granted. Back then, we had the outsourcing in China as the manufacturing base and all that, right? All of a sudden, that gets disrupted, and we do see inflation. So in my opinion, that's where it comes from. But in terms of stock picks, in terms of what to do about it, then we tend to focus on companies that have pricing power. And that comes from a number of different places, right? It could be, number one, because the companies have a long queue of customers. There could be innovators, and there can also be just regular old companies at a great price, right? That maybe provide a dividend and so on. So let me talk about pricing power. In that category, we would like Home Depot. Home Depot has the ability to pass some of the costs of the raw materials to their customers. Also like Intuit. I don't remember the last time that I did my taxes, my TurboTax, that it didn't go up on me. I have to do my tax. I have to do my taxes, and every year it's a little higher. So they obviously have some degree of pricing power. So those are companies that tend to do well in an inflationary environment. We like to focus on the ones that have earnings and revenues acceleration. And for that, if you look at the innovators in that category, there's Apple Computer, or Apple Inc. Sorry, I'm an old guy. And also AMD, right? AMD as well. These are companies where the pricing power comes from the fact that they can come up with new products, or they have a very loyal existing customer base. And in case of AMD, they got the server chips and so on. And all this talk that we hear about metaverses and things of that nature, at some point it's going to lead. It's just, it's the secular demand for chips. Everybody wants chips.
Francisco, I just want to go back to what one of your picks on Home Depot, because it could be indicative of many other stocks in this market. Aren't you concerned about interest rate risk with a company like that, just given how tied they are to housing and perhaps housing might slow down if we get 5 or 6 rate hikes this year?
That's correct. And my advice would be to anybody, listen to my stock picks. That's fine. I'm sharing from my heart. But on the other hand, you should build a good portfolio, right? So you can't put all your eggs in Home Depot. You might want to look at other things as well, right? Yeah, there is that interest rate risk. And you might want to diversify that a bit. You might want to have some utilities, maybe. You can find some of those at a good price, or even CarMax. Part of the outcome of the shortage in semiconductors, that used car prices are high, right? So you may want to look at CarMax as well. But again, focus on your portfolio, build a good portfolio of stocks, and any particular name you increase, you get more risk that way.
And let's also talk more about large cap tech. You mentioned AMD, right? I know that you're looking at a couple of the others, Apple, Amazon, and...
Okay, that's enough of him. I can tell you right now, I went completely against this guy's advice with Apple. I put a put on Apple when it was at 175. I'm not going to make no bones about it, and I'm up like 42% on that put already, so God bless this guy, but the tech stocks are going to get hammered, and Apple is operating with a P ratio far exceeding where it should be on price over earnings. So I don't know what kind of, so that's that. But then I tried to kill a little bit of a time so you guys could see a general feel. But I wanted to do this as well. This one's more important, which is why I waited. But we're trying to make sure everybody's in here for when I go through the technicals. Make sure to hit that like button so we can get as many people as possible.
About the inflation and interest rate outlooks. Brian Chung, you see him right there. He is here with us. And of course, we had not only yesterday's CPI number, Brian, we also had an interview on Bloomberg with James Bullard, where he talked about a potential 50 basis point increase at the March meeting. And we have seen people on the street really start to once again get more aggressive in their expectations for the Fed.
Yeah, how dramatically things have changed. When people were having their coffee yesterday in the morning before 8:30, the expectation was that the Fed was going to raise by 25 basis points, a single rate hike in the next meeting. And then you fast forward to now, and markets overwhelmingly pricing in a chance of a double rate hike. But let's unpack exactly what happened yesterday. Again, starting off with that inflation number coming in at 7.5% on a year-over-year basis, as the consumer price index reported yesterday at 8:30. That is the fastest pace that we've seen since 1982. And that had a lot of people wondering, well, it was also above the street's expectations, and it's probably above a lot of the Fed officials' expectations as well. So the Fed needs to get more aggressive on quelling this inflation problem, which is really starting to kind of get away from them. So, of course, you have markets that started to price in the odds of a 50 basis point hike. We had Matt Lozzetti from Deutsche Bank on the show shortly after the print saying they're expecting a 50 basis point increase, which, by the way, will be remarkable because the Fed hasn't done that since May of 2000. And then you had James Bullard, the St. Louis Fed president, someone inside the ivory tower, actually outright telling Bloomberg he would support a double rate hike in the Fed's next meeting in mid-March. That's why, as of this morning, you see markets that are betting. These are really Fed funds futures markets, which are bets on where Fed policy could go in the future, now showing an 85% chance of a 50 basis point move in the next meeting. You even had some like, for example, Tim Dewey over at the University of Oregon, an economist who actually I think works now for another agency, but he was saying, look, I think the Fed should make an emergency announcement sometime over the weekend. Now, just to kind of step back from that, there's no expectation that the Fed is going to do something like that. My kind of read on everything is that this isn't necessarily enough for the Fed to want to do so. One big reason, the Fed needs to get another inflation print before their next meeting in mid-March, and that could also sway things in the other direction. Imagine if that print ends up coming below expectations. Either way you cut it and slice it, it just shows the volatility that markets have right now, the sensitivity that they have to these inflationary prints, and really the difficulty for the Fed to try to message what comes next.
Okay,
well, we've got some Fed speak coming next week as well, so we'll get a little more.
So I just wanted to show that. So I welcome in everybody. I do appreciate everybody tuning in. Let me get this over here so I can see. 60 people, holy smokes. Make sure to hit that like button. 20 people have not hit that like button, so right on, Stacy. Yeah, I am still waiting. I haven't gotten anything. That's why I did this emergency live. I know you guys have been looking in the Telegram, but for me, it's this simple. I'm looking at this. Where's the most logical spot for these targets to hit? And now since XRP, let's go to XRP first. XRP in the 4-hour time frame, you got the 200-day down here, right here. But in the daily time frame, and it's moving up just a little bit, so we got to kind of follow it a little bit. But 72.8 right now is the 20-day down here in the 4-hour time frame. So we basically flipped down in the daily. So we've hunted. If we break the, where are we at right here, the 50-day, we're going to come down to 20-day for support. And that's what I thought we were going to do. Initially, I thought we were going to hit 75 cents. But the way Bitcoin came down, there was so much momentum coming down that it still feels like we have to go a little bit farther. So, and we're getting rejected by the 20-day. That just seems to me to tell me that we're on the right track and this needs to come down a little bit. I'm looking like that 68. I really want 68 just because you get to that tip where we had the first breakout. It's the top of that flagpole. I would really like to kind of hit that, but I don't think it's going to, not necessarily sure it's going to come all the way down there. This could be creating a J hook where you do one of these, and then this would be, you know, you could do something like that. But I wouldn't be surprised, you know, if maybe we step down and hit this area. But I'm definitely interested in the 68 to 72. There's nothing else that really interests me, to be honest with you. I know a lot of people ask me. Yep. I mean, it very well could be on Monday, J-Legs. It really could. That Fed meeting. They really could. That's why I think this dump, remember I called and said we were going to have a dump before the Super Bowl, but leading into the weekend. And then sometime Friday night into Saturday, we would start to become bullish again. And then probably Sunday during the Super Bowl or leading into Monday, we'd dump hard. So, I mean, it's playing out exactly like that. So, like, to me, I'm going to show you guys, too, like, it really does look confluent here. I mean, I don't really see anything else that can happen here. We've already called this down to 75, which I thought was a great call because a lot of people were getting very bullish because of how it looked, which they should be, but when it tests the cup and handle break point, that's the thing a lot of people always forget about for some reason. So, I mean, look at this drop right here down to 75. So, we've got the 20-day right there. Hey, Greg, what's going on, brother? But when we came up down here, so we've got this whole picture where we came down, or up from 57 cents. We made a topping point at just about 90 cents. But, I mean, we've made a fantastic play here, though, guys, because, look, it's creating the handle. Remember I said it was going to create the handle? Now it's easier to see because it's down at 75. It didn't look like that at 80 because it was still sideways. But look how it literally created the handle for us. We came up, came down. You know, if it bounces here, it would be even better. But it created our handle for us. That's bullish. If it holds this area, that's a bullish cup and handle. We came across. The handle's right there. That's why 75 cents is a beautiful area, too. I mean, it's so hard to tell you if it's going to be 75 or 72. It's just Bitcoin is showing that sign that it wants to drop down a little bit farther, and there's not much I can do about that. The only thing is it hit the 42,559 support. But is there any volume? No. And we're on the bottom side of the 20-day, so that's kind of a problem. A big problem. And the fact we had a bearish divergence in the 30-minute is not good. That usually indicates we're going to go down another level and let some of these other time frames catch up. But I could certainly see a bounce down to 41,139. But it is so damn tempting to buy right here. It really is. And then you see this as well. That's the trouble part. I think this is going to end up, what I'm saying is like, it almost makes too much sense that it's going to come down here. Because then everybody's going to think, oh, there's the head and shoulders. And then it would round up. I think it almost makes perfect sense to do that. Because then everybody's like, oh, see, left shoulder, head, right shoulder. And then it would just bounce up on everybody. And I think that would make such perfect sense for how they like to manipulate the crypto markets. Even a fake dump down. Remember I said we had to have the liquidity dump, and we're doing that right now. That's how I knew we were coming down from 80 cents on XRP, and we were coming down from that 259 level. Or the 43,000 level, because we had to have the liquidity dump. So now if you look at it, this just looks like a bearish continuation that'll be equal, and it would get us right here. And then I think it's coming. I really think that's what's going on. Yo, Crypto Papa, welcome. XRP Perfection. XRP, yeah, we'll get the XRP. It's just, I got to show you Bitcoin too because XRP is not a grown-up yet, so it has to follow Bitcoin. So wouldn't you like to know an overall market perspective so you know why we're going down to where we are in XRP? I mean, hell, if you want me to, if we want to rush on, you could always, send a donation and say, hey, Tom, speed it up and go to where I want, even if you send me 1 penny, because then you're paying with your money. So anyhow, that's what I'm looking at. So if Bitcoin does that and creates that pattern and comes up, right? Continuation of the downside, fakes everybody out and then moves up. So what does that mean for... I can't see anything on here. Okay, so what does it mean for XRP? That would mean XRP is doing a continuation right now. And it would have an equal move that it just had if that's what Bitcoin's signaling to us. So then you're like, oh, this is going to be the sideways. And then you get the continuation. It's not a big move. But that could also... But it came up to 77. See how it's not on 75? So that almost supports that it's going to come down to 72 and hold. I don't like that. I think it's going to come down to like... right here. It's somewhere in there. And I know the 4 hours moving around a little bit. But I think it's somewhere in there. They're all meeting. We got to get us... I still feel like it's going to be like somewhere in here. That, for some reason, I feel like it's going to do that. And then it's going to swing around off of there. And just like with Bitcoin, you got this kind of slanting. So it's kind of like, oh, we got a leaning tower. Continuation. And then off to the races. And then that's where I think you might be able to hit that bounce up here. So that's what I'm looking at. I want to know your guys' opinion. So that's XRP. And then XLM is the tricky one because this was my lower of 2 targets and it got down here very quickly. Now, if it gets to the accumulation zone, obviously that's going to be unbelievable. But I don't know. It's on the bottom side of the daily time frame in the 20 days, so that is very bearish. Oops. I don't know, these just, to me, does it just look like one big left hook to everybody else, too? Like one big left arm? Because this looks like bull flags across the board, which makes them left arms. If you just call it an arm and a head. So that means the head on XLM, I can already see it in my head. It's at 29.1. I think XLM is going to come up. Either it bounces here. God, it makes so much sense. And comes up here. Or like up here. Or it has to come down here and then it rockets like that. We could also have a double top. But this looks like these are all going to come up one more layer. This is going to be a Super Bowl weekend pump. I really believe that. I mean, the way it's looking, I really believe these are turning into Super Bowl pumps. And with all these commercials coming on, you watch. It's going to pump and then it'll probably dump sometime during the Super Bowl. So, in the comments, I want to know XRP, XLM, DGB, or not DGB, XLM, XRP, ALGO, which hit our target of 90 cents that we called out earlier, which I'm shocked that it got down here so quick. So, obviously, ALGO's initial target might not have been on the money. I thought 90 cents was going to be a good buy spot, and it's already down here. But it hit 89.66. So for ALGO, we're kind of crossing on the RSI, so I mean, you absolutely could. You could have a pump. Let's see. I mean, you could. Nothing's off the table when you. But the other thing you guys got to realize is this is going to be set for one big trap. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you get in there and it pumps and you don't get out fast enough, you're going to think it's going to the moon. And then all of a sudden, within like probably an hour or two, you're going to be down 20% before you even bought in. It's not going to be pretty. They're going to do it quick. Especially if shit goes and hits the fan on Monday. That's really going to be bad. Where's XDC? Yeah, that's XDC. I mean, that's not a terrible buy. XRP or XDC's way down already. That 577 is where would be a logical spot to come down to as well. But you bought it right at a actually really good spot because it completed a cup and handle here, much like XRP, from a past cup and handle, then went way up. So if you go back here, so that's a huge level of support here that you managed to use. Well, it didn't come all the way 100% down, but it managed to use the support in that area, which is a big support. And actually, this one is supposed to be down a little bit farther. But with that one at 5.9, you could actually say you could play it down to 5.64 now. So that's actually not a bad buy right there. It's actually a really good buy. It's just, you might have to deal with it coming down just a tiny bit farther. But the RSI is oversold in the 30. It's just, it's going to get rejected by the neutral area and come back down. It looks like. Oh, Elon Musk. No, I'm glad you brought up Elon Musk because there's a rumor that Doge is going to have a commercial. And if they have a commercial, God, having something like that, doesn't it almost make it desirable to have Doge? And look how it's coming up to the uptrending line. Look how perfectly Doge is setting up for a Super Bowl pump. I mean, look at that. That's the symmetrical. And it's literally down to the end of the symmetrical. And for the Super Bowl, watch what could potentially happen here. It could literally have a close or come down like this. Hit that 1370 area. And for the Super Bowl, without even thinking, come way up there. And people would be like, oh my God, Doge. It pumped so hard for the Super Bowl. My God. And really, it would be from about 1382. Even if it went up to that support at 1744, you're talking a 25% minimum pump. But that could go way outside. If it breaks that symmetrical, this could be where it's ready to break the uptrend and fake a bunch of people out and go to like 20 cents real quick. Doge likes to do that. But, I mean, it's still trying to work out the RSI in the daily, but it is using the yellow part. It crossed through, though. See, that's bearish. In the 4-hourly, we're at the neutral area, basically. We're trying to cross into oversold, which is what we want. We want to get Doge way down here. Because then it's got to be bought up. And then they tend to fucking jump in like sharks in the water. So, gold and silver Monday, it all depends. All depends. Right now it's pumping up, but we're going to have we're going to have a retrace somewhere along the way. The other one that I'm curious about would be, and I did phenomenal today on my options. I was up like, on Barrett Gold, I was up 100% on my option. On Fortuna, I was up like 26%. PBR, I was up 42%. There's a few of them that I just crushed it today. Equinox, I was up like 58% on the option. But then Neo, Apple, and Fuel Cell, I was up collectively like 22% of my put options because I bought them so high. Oh, it's great. I knew they were so overvalued a couple days ago. So, let's see. Shiba. Well, there's a rumor, too, that Shiba might have a commercial as well. So, but look at this real quick while we're up here. I don't know if Sean's in here. I don't know if Sean's in here, but CSPR Casper, it's down, guys, to this uptrending line. And look at this. It has a history of bouncing off that uptrending line. So I think Casper could be severely ahead of the market right now. And I want to make sure that I mark that properly way back here. Because I haven't messed with this in a very, very long time. So that's the monthly, weekly. Oh, I just threw that line back because of how that is right there. This is just the current uptrend. But why is it connected like that? I don't get that. I must have just went from over here into an uptrend. But I mean, it bounces off of this area every single time. And this is the support in the area as well. So I agree, Q. I agree. It's unreal right now the way it's coming down, though. It's really in a desirable area, too. It's almost in the oversold on the 4-hour. The daily, it crossed the yellow line. So if it really comes down, I can remeasure this out. If it really comes down, we could measure this a little bit differently, which is something that I haven't had to change for a while, but something that's definitely catching my attention right now. Oops. Because if we did it like this and kind of played off the bottom like that, it would make it more of a cross right there. And then we wouldn't have technically come all the way down yet. And then the actual line, if we deleted this, which I almost feel like makes more sense. Because I don't feel like it's at the bottom yet, but who knows? I think that makes more sense. Something like that. Give it room for the RSI to come back down too. But anyhow, that's just what I'm looking at Casper. But if that's the case, that would be a triple hit down towards 705 area. Yep. Absolutely, Q. I think that's dead on because you have one hit here at 705, 2 hits here. If this had an overshoot and then it bounced back up into the trend line, even though my trend line's probably off a little bit, but you get the picture. I think that's a good spot. I'm glad to hear that, Q. Now I at least know that's the right area to be looking at. Down 6% now. I think the rest of the market's going to follow it soon. And then, what did I want to look at? Shit. I did want to look at something. I just can't remember. Oh, CRV. So I have the next support on CRV. I know I don't cover it a lot, but I do have it down here. I know you guys are probably shocked. Like, oh my God, he has it on his list. But I do cover it independently on my own. I'll get to Shiba too, duh. But $2.38 is a good support. But I don't think we're getting down there. I think we'll probably get back into these areas. But $2.38 is definitely a spot where it dropped all the way down. But I'm going to go back in the pattern. You can see back here. That's a nice area of support. Way back here where I put it at $2.69 roughly. So if we had a drop back here, it would make it the equal move to the other side if you actually look at it. I know it's sometimes hard to see when you can't see it, but if it came down here and this created you would have the same kind of a move. So then you would have, or it could come down here, but if it wants to make a giant fucking move down, but I don't know. I don't know about that. All right, Shiba. Don't be bashful, guys. Don't be bashful. All these requests. Don't be bashful. Let's see what we got next. Who's gonna pop the cherry and send the first donation on the live stream today, huh? Who's gonna be that person to send me $1? All I want is $1 on each live stream. That's my goal, is to make $1 each live stream. Or one new subscriber. Shiba, I have targeted right now. And the daily, I don't know if it's going to make it all the way down to here. I really don't. I know it's close. And I would love it. I would actually love if it came down to that area, 2639. But in the 4-hourly, I don't know. Huh. That's an interesting spot right now. I still think it's got to come back down a little bit. God, the RSI is so fucking high. 4-hour, it's coming down, though. So you got the 2809 and then 2687 right here. I mean, that's basically, which one are you going to buy? Actually, it's a little lower because we did touch a little farther. It went through my area, so I like to put it right where it went to. So 2791. So It's possible it could stop at 2791 with the Bitcoin dump another 1,000 points or 1,200 points roughly. Actually, 1,300 from here. It might go to 2687. Hey, Raul, $2. I appreciate that. See, that's all it takes. I didn't think anybody was actually going to send anything. Crypto, you guys don't really have to donate anything. I just talk. I mean, if you feel like you want to crypto mentor, but you don't have to. I just talk. Check my PayPal. Hey, XRP Perfection. Theta Fuel and TFUEL, or Theta and TFUEL. I'm sure Sean will like that. Hey, Sean, thanks for the $1, my guy. See? I appreciate that, Sean, and PayPal. And then Fabian, I didn't even see you snuck in $20 in the Cash App, you sneaky son of a gun. Guy sneaking in on these Cash Apps. I always forget about those. Sneaky, sneaky people. You sneaky, sneaky. So, Theta, $399.71, and you guys know I cover Theta very, very nicely. Oh, I do have PayPal. Yeah, I have, I think there's a link in the, is there a link in the video description? Oh, Space Ghost, I appreciate that. Okay, let me see if I missed somebody too. I appreciate that. Let me see if I can get I know it's in let me go back to one of my descriptions. I'll make it very easy, very easy. I apologize. Guys, gotta give me one minute. Just 1 minute. I just wanted to, I had to get my phone out so that I can type it in there a little bit easier. What the hell's my live? Live. But Theta's the next thing. Theta and then TFUEL real quick. 77 people watching. Wow. But that's the PayPal. For anybody who was asking. Not that you have to. I mean, seriously. Nobody has to donate anything. I'm just blessed to have you guys in the audience. And my members of Tom's Army. I'm proud of you guys. Proud of it. So, the 4-hour time frame, we could obviously say with Theta, that 391's been holding, but now the 4-hour time frame's coming up. So you always want to have something on the 4-hour time frame and the 20-day because that's our bullish line. So I think Theta's trying to make I don't know. I just don't see how it's going to keep going up from here. It finally came down south of the it went over 2% is what happened, like 2.25%. It's skyrocketing. We can actually watch, I can actually show you something that I almost shared earlier, but then I started talking straight crypto on my earlier, but we'll get into that in a second. I'll go type it in a second. But I wanted to do the Theta. So Theta, I would look for $3 in like that 80-cent area if it drops through here, $3.81. Because we got to show support on the 4-hour and the 20-day. The RSI is way up there though, man. The RSI is really going to be a problem right now. We gotta alleviate this, and you're seeing it right now as well. Let me pull this up. We had a cross here, so we have a bearish cross right now in the RSI. So that's going to be bearish, and it might get us down to this area. We've got to get down to about 50. I'd be looking for a 50 on the RSI to get back into this we can have a nice little bounce up. So we're having a bearish cross though in the RSI. That's the yellow line coming. If you're looking at it from an RSI perspective, that's when that purple line comes back through the yellow support line. We're crossing it bearishly now. That's not necessarily, well, it's not a good thing at all. And I have my price volume trend on the bottom, but there's really no reason to show that right now. So yeah, that's what I'd be looking at Theta. Those are the two areas. If it breaks those areas, you've got a pretty substantial drop. There's not much holding it up. There's like 364, I think it is. Somewhere up here by this wick. But it's more down here. Somewhere in this area. But I wouldn't expect it to hold there. I would just say if it doesn't hold 381, you're probably coming down to that 350. Or 337. Those are the accumulation zones. So that's Theta. And then TFUEL. Wall shift pod. First, we have to get to the 722 that I was saying that I think it could bounce off of in my updates. And if it gets past there, then maybe 6.8. I think it's more likely to 7.2, 7.22. But Theta Fuel, I do a lot of stuff with Theta Fuel. I just don't cover it as often. But when it was breaking down through here, we had this kind of symmetric, this inside out, it kind of broke in between. And right now, what we're looking for, I'm going to be honest, we already broke through here in the 20 days, so we're going to have to look for a support on this area down here, likely. Is it impossible for it to hold up there at the... It's going to be hard, though. I mean, this volume, it looks like it wants to pull down. Could we come back topside of the 20-day? We could. I mean, it doesn't look awful, but this needed to be support up here if we're going to hold this area. It's tough. It's going to be tough not to break down to that 18.9 and try to show some sort on the 200-day. But I got to get back on the XRP. I'm losing my focus. I've only got so much time to be live. So in the 30-minute, we got the 20-day that we had a bearish cross, obviously, as we said. And some of the other ones. TFUEL's had it as well. I know I've seen it, Space Ghost. I don't know. I haven't had a chance to kind of break it down. But every time they get listed on Uphold the day after, roughly, they have a huge breakup. A day or two later, Spell did, even though it's not been having good news. So the 20-day, it looks like we're getting rejected. I'd say 19.4 would be a great spot to at least look. 19.4, 18.9 for TFUEL. Now, there was one thing I wanted to do for... What was it? The 10-year... Wait a minute. Who was asking? Was it the 10-year bond you were asking about? I can't remember now. Retype that question because it went up too fast. Yep. I agree. 69 to 72 sounds good as well. So let's go back to XRP real quick. Well, I mean, Shiba. This is when I was supposed to go, or not XEM, but Shiba I was supposed to go to a while ago. But I know we went here, but that's what we're looking at. It's about to get rejected by the 20-day. Bearish cross. And just like what we were saying, we're going to have to watch this as it comes back up. Here you go. We'll just listen to this. This is what I was going to play from CNBC on my XRP update, but I never ended up doing it. When I was doing the CPI, it took too much time. But I can play it now. So sit in and relax. I'm going to go check on my son.
Power E-Trade gives you an award-winning mobile app with powerful, easy-to-use tools and interactive charts to give you an edge, 24/7 support when you need it the most, plus $0 commissions for online U.S.-listed stocks. Get E-Trade and start trading today. Never settle with Power E-Trade. It has powerful,
Holy moly.
easy-to-use tools to help you find opportunities, 24/7 support when you need answers, plus some of the lowest options and futures contract prices around. Get E-Trade and start trading today.
Mohammed, great to get your perspectives on a day like today. If the Fed did go ahead with what Bullard is prescribing, which is the 50 basis point hike, one full percentage point by July or so, then that would seem like an admission by the Fed of a policy error that it has made.
It will be the second admission of a policy error. The first one was on November 30th, when they finally retired transitory, having miscalled inflation for so long. And now this policy error would be of starting to slam on the brakes because they didn't take their foot off the accelerator early enough. It's really fascinating, Melissa, the way the market reacted today. We came back strongly and impressively from the inflation print because we had confidence in corporate earnings and we had the behavioral conditioning. Then came the comments which suggest a policy mistake that would lower economic growth and hurt earnings. And that's why we've come down again. And you can see that clearly in what's happening in fixed income. So the market is pricing in a higher probability of a Fed policy mistake.
You're pointing out, I think on Twitter, Mohammed, the huge spike that we're seeing in the 2-year yields specifically. And I'm wondering what you are most concerned about in the next few weeks as we are going to get more Fed speak. And as Mike had mentioned, they will be asked specifically, or they'll be sort of forced to comment on whether or not 50 basis points in March is a possibility.
Look, they have to do two things. They have to regain inflation credibility. They are way behind in the understanding of inflation. And two is they have to control the policy narrative. It is amazing to me that the marketplace now expects 150 basis points of hikes this year and is starting to front load, as Steve said, the hiking cycle. That is serious. So they've got to do two things quickly. The trouble, Melissa, is they're so late that I can't think of an easy way to do this. And this is the one thing we all wanted them to avoid. We didn't want them to be in a lose-lose situation, and increasingly they're being forced into a corner of just lose-lose.
Mohammed, just to get a little more specific on what Bullard is putting out there, he wants 1 percentage point of hikes by July 1st. So that would be 100 basis points in 3 meetings, therefore 50 in one, 25 in 2 others, as opposed to by the end of July when there's another meeting and you might be able to get to your 100 basis points 4 weeks later. Is that really the difference between the Fed having this methodical start to a tightening cycle that the markets can handle and a Fed policy error?
So what he wants, and we should all want it, is regaining control of the policy narrative and of policy credibility. So his way of doing it, and it's not only his way, others are proposing this, is move quickly, show that you're serious, and contain inflationary expectations. Inflation expectations are starting to move, not only to compensate for past inflation, but also to anticipate future inflation. So his idea is move quickly, restore your credibility, and then wait. See how the data evolves. And that is a more orderly way of doing it. The trouble is that if they don't get it just right, they risk having to hike again. And then you worry about the economy and you worry about the typical mistake, which is when you slam on the brakes, you increase the probability of a significant slowdown and you hurt corporate earnings.
Okay, so I'll bring out that chart too. Let me pull out the chart. But I wanted to kind of let everybody know what was going on. So let's see, 10-year Treasury bond yield. So, is this the chart you were looking for? I'll pull this back up. Joshua, is this the one you wanted? And I seen Juju. Julie said hi. That's Julie. She was somewhere in the comments. Thank you for those, all those $5. That wasn't necessary, all those, but I do appreciate it. Quite humble of you, Joshua. You know what? I'm going to add this to the top of my chart while I'm waiting for your response. Because I want the U.S. 10-year Treasury. This is a good one to have. I'm going to have to start adding more of these onto my charts. Sorry, guys. Hold on. Let me just... I have so much stuff on my chart that it's... imagine me having to do all this. And then when I hit the wrong button and I hit alphabetize on accident, and then I have to do all this over again. Oh, it's so fucking annoying. All right, so... let's keep it right there for now. No, it's got to go under the U.S. It would look weird like that, so we'll put it under the dollar. So, I mean, it's down 5.9% in the last trading towards the end of the day. Let's see what we're looking at. Had a heck of a run up, though. That is for sure. I don't know. It doesn't... I don't think this necessarily looks done. I think it's coming down for a little bit of support, but I don't think this looks done. It's making a nice little run down, but it looks like it had a bigger than normal sell-off. It's going to come up at the very least and retest up in this area. I have very little doubt about that. Because it's got to retest this right here. Does it get rejected there? It's possible. So we got that right there. We've got an accumulation zone down here. We got the double bottom right here. It sure is. Oh, no problem, Joshua. Wow, $4.99 more. You're crazy. You're blessing me. I really appreciate it. You're crazy in a good way, but I mean, honestly, if you look at this right here, we do have a spot where we could bounce off of 1.902 back here when we had this completed cup. We came through, never retested it though, so now this could be the retest. So this is very interesting. It's a very interesting chart. Oh shit, I didn't even see PayPal. I apologize. Always forget you guys can send me stuff on here. Wow, Crypto Mentor. $10. Oh, I'm not supposed to say the amount. I appreciate it. Oh yeah, I can say the amount because it's on the live stream. Duh. I can say it on the live stream. Sam Lima, thank you for the $15. I just seen that on Cash App. Holy smokes. And I also see that there's a few things that have gone up about 3 to 4%. But yeah, Crypto Mentor. I do see it playing out, actually. I do. I see it playing out. But real quick, before I go to that, Crypto Mentor, because I'm going to go back to XRP and just highly focus on that while I can right now, because I'm going to have to put my son to bed soon. But, I mean, what do you think about this, Joshua? Does this give you a better look at this? But it is crazy how it's affecting the markets, and this is just going to get worse, unfortunately. I mean, now it got up to 2.061%. I mean, look at how big of a gain this was. If you look at this logically, I mean, it's crazy. So from December 22nd of 2021, so not even 2 months ago, it's gone up 53.4% in the 10-year. That's a huge spike. In the 10-year Treasury, that's huge. And the government bond, like, that's just it. It's not looking good. I mean, there's nothing more we can say. It really is not looking good. Even the total crypto market cap, what's it really doing right now in this bounce? What's it really doing? I know I feel like holy smokes when I start seeing that, I'm like, whoa. You know, this is definitely it doesn't when I start getting donations like that, it's definitely not the norm, but it's definitely appreciated, like greatly. So I mean, I don't see anything the total crypto market cap's going to do here. It's in between my support resistance lines. It didn't hold here, which I don't even have down there because I had the 192 and 181 just from the past. But it really wanted to hold this. The fact we're on the bottom side of this is bearish. Everybody just needs to know we're on the bottom side of the 20-day. Very bearish. And we had a bearish cross here too, but it looks like we're going to, once we can test support, this could come down to 1813 would be a nice spot. I think 1813 would be a perfect spot for the total crypto market cap if it could bounce off of it. We got this nice rise up right here where it would have retested this area. So, big bounce. I don't know how high it's going to go, but it could be a bounce spot. And then XRP at 70, ooh, plus 2.22%. See? So, yeah. Obviously, the angels are pointing, and it's going to do what we're thinking at some point once we can get to where we need to. But 75 cents was the targeted move that I called all day today, which it hit. But if we're trying to find the absolute, I mean, we're never going to be able to find the absolute bottom. But I feel like with everything we're seeing, it's rejected on the 20-day right here. So that would have been the fluke buy right there at 75 cents. Not saying anybody who bought it made a bad buy. I'm saying that's the market, the buy that was set up for the market. You would have to dig a little bit deeper to see the next play out of this if it gets rejected. You would just have to have foresight. Which you can also get burned by trying to have foresight, because this could very well have come up and finished a cup and handle at 804 and then it's going off to the races. But the volume's atrocious. That's what I was saying in the 30-minute. I was trying to tell it in the Telegram. It's awful. Look at all this. That's a key indicator. All this dump volume, and there's nobody on YouTube that can read the volume and understand the volume like I can. It's something that I really believe that is undervalued to understand what the volume flow means and what you're seeing in front of you. It's not just green and red. You have to see the consistency of volume. I think Crypto Mentor does a fantastic job with volume on his channel. When he talks about the dumping in, when he talks about who's actually going to buy it. You just got to pay attention to what people say. Yeah, Julie's doing pretty good. She actually, she walked out here. Well, she didn't walk. She limped out here with her walker on one foot. I didn't know she was watching the live stream. I didn't even know that she commented until she said that. There's so much stuff going on. But yeah, I'm blessed to be able to come on here for a couple minutes and 54 minutes. 57 people still in here, 91 likes. That is a heck of a ratio. This is going to be interesting, though. This is really going to be interesting. Oh, there's Julie. See, Julie, you have fans. I don't think you guys have ever seen her talk in here. To be honest with you. But you have a lot of fans, Julie. You have a lot of fans. But we got the 20-day. So Crypto Mentor, we have the 20-day. That's obviously the biggest point. If we can't break that, we got to come back down here. And then I think we're going to come into this area. So I really think the 62 to 78. I mean, the 68 to 72 is a prime spot right there. It's just we don't really have a basis for 72. It's just that's a huge spot because that's where the 4-hour is right now. And the 200-day. But it's moving up a little bit. So we're going to have to make this... we're going to have to make a good buy here. Somewhere in this area. Somewhere in here is going to be the sweet spot, I think. Where we're at, nobody knows. The problem is, though, is if you don't have a strong stomach and you bought up here and it breaks through that and then you're looking at it and it's already down 3.39% or God forbid it's got to come down here 8.9%. I don't know very many people who are watching me right now, even at 3% that are going to stay in it. You guys in my Telegram, if it goes down 0.5%, you're already ready to get out. 3.3%. That's where you got to look at it and be like, am I willing to hold it that long? I'm not willing to hold the drop from there because I don't know if it's going to 68 cents, and I'll be damned to lose 8.8%. Do I see Algo going below? Well, at first I thought Algo was going to be at the 90 bound spot, just like XRP at 75, but all it did was it showed that the accuracy of that drop when I predicted it, but obviously I don't think that's the proper spot. I just think we're going to get, some people are going to get fleece heisted and chisted in this area before it goes on to its ultimate area, because you can already see, if you look at this a little bit quicker, you might be, and Crypto Mentor will know what we're doing here. That could end up playing out as a bearish continuation using that 94.77 as resistance. And the reason why that line's important is if you look at it in the 30-minute, that's the support resistance just above the 20-day. So, I mean, there's a lot of stuff in this area that's going to stop us. Now that we came to the bottom side of these 20 days, that's very bearish in the 30-minute time frame. The RSI, if we pull this out now, and I don't even like the indicators, but you start looking at the indicators. For me, the RSI, it tells me what the buyers are doing. I mean, I said we were going to come down to about 24.53 in algo when it was way up here in the RSI. It came way below what I thought. That's why we had to have a bounce. But I mean, look at how much that jumped up just on that little of a move. That's telling you it all. We're like selling out right now. We're like all these buyers that just came in. Look how fast it went up. That's right, J-Legs. My brother Vincenzo. If you guys haven't followed his channel already or subbed to it. He just went over 1,030 subscribers, newly partnered. Oh, Stacy, thank you for the $10. Holy smolies. Was that a dinosaur I seen on there too? Oh, it was, the hell is that, a pear? No. I'm sure old Vincenzo isn't watching this live stream, though. Old Vincenzo is out in, where the hell is he at? Illinois. Still working. He's been on 7 days for like 2 months, almost. So, a lot of fun, a lot of fun. I mean, he got to come home for like 2 days. But he made the wrong decision because all the snow was down there, as it turned out. But yeah, I mean, what do you think, Stacy? That looks like a rejection point right there. Based on the volume, that's going to be a rejection point. And yeah, I know you can't see it right now, but it's probably going to look like something like that. And does it hold there? My best guess would be probably not. No, I don't know if it's going to get to 81, though. That's the thing. 81 from here, I don't know if it's possible. Because then we have to look at algo. I mean, IOTA and see what that's doing. It's possible that it would be 84 instead of 81. But fuck. There's so many spots here because we had a quick drop off to 79. Then we have this bottom. We had a wick down, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. That's why it's so hard to say, oh, it's going to come to this spot. But if you look. Hold on one sec. I gotta wait for this to get out of my way. So if you look here, we had a drop. Here we had a drop. Big accumulation zone here, which is why I thought this was a good area for it to drop. It's already dropped at this point, though. So now this area is likely washed. So now we're going to say, where's the next accumulation zone? Well, we had a drop, pull up. Drop, pull up. So if we break it even, somewhere in here. So like that 80, 82... maybe 85. I could see 85 holding, and I can go back farther in the pattern to show you why that is relevant. Or I could break it out in a 4-hourly to show you that as well. We have this area right in here that it could absolutely hold, and this is where we had we kind of had a reversal candle right in that area, but that's where it came down and was able to hold. That's significant. So I think 85 would probably be the best. To me, 85 cents would be the most logical. Because that's where that reversal candle held. So maybe we're coming back down to prove that that was actual support in this area. It was a big reversal candle back there too, because we were on a downtrend and it stopped it out of nowhere. And not just that, you had more volume. You had an equal shuffle, but you had more volume coming up, and then we just kind of choppy. But then when you look at it, the biggest indicator here, when we were going up, what happened? Why couldn't we sustain it when we came up over here? Oh, that's right. Every single section, we had big red volume that was greater than any green volume in the area. That's very bearish, and we're doing it again right here. Weak. It's weak because look how high up the red candle is. There's nothing here. You could add up all of these together, and it probably won't even equal that. So it's very bearish. This is very bearish right now. I wouldn't, like, if you're not in, I wouldn't buy. If you're already in, it's going to be very hard for me to just say you sell, but you already can see that you're in trouble. For anybody who is looking at the charts, we can already see this area is in trouble. Huge wick there. You never want to see a big wick pull up like that. Not yet. Because now we're just going to get, that's basically where we're going to get chopped off. That's our chopping point. And then we're just going to our real support. A lot of signals here. And the support's down here. So now that we broke through, what's the rule, guys? Well, isn't it convenient that that support we're going to have to come down to is 24.53? That's right where I drew it out, that was going to be the bounce spot. We came below it, went above it. Now if we use it as support, it's just going to happen to be that bounce spot. Best in the business for a reason. I can do it everywhere because I know what I'm looking at. And then I got to end this though, guys. It's getting late. I got to go check on my son. So I do appreciate everybody tuning in. I'm glad we got to do an hour. I really am. I'm blessed. Yep, Kenny. As long as you know where you're going to overall. This overall move, though, I feel like we're going to have a move. Super Bowl Sunday is a great catalyst. It's also a great catalyst for a dump after or during. So be careful. I think tonight, if we can dump sometime tonight, the futures is closed. It's a very thinly traded market on the weekends, which is why I love trading crypto instead of the stock market, because it's not 24/7 and I think too much, so I can't have a closed market. It just doesn't work. And Forex is just too broad. So I like crypto. I understand crypto. I understand the ISO. I understand the influx that's coming in and yada, yada, yada. So I think with everything adding up, we're going to have a pump for the Super Bowl leading into it. Maybe not, by halftime, it probably will be dumping. But I think we're going to have a pump. I already said we were going to have a dump leading into tonight when the futures closed. You guys all remember this. The last day or and a half, we've been talking about it, especially today, before it happened. We said we're going to have a dump down to support because we had to have a liquidity dump to open up the door and open up the money, the buyers too, and the flexibility and the leverage in trading, because you need leverage traders too for a big push up, because you're going to need those 10x, 100x, 50x's, 20x's. But you need the new money. You can't have old leverage because then that just makes the books heavier. So now we get some of these old numbers off the books. Just with this drop today, some of these leverage accounts are wiped out, liquidated. Go ask Hayden how that works out. He's liquidated again because at 88 cents, he's convinced again that it's just going to go straight up without coming down. So if you don't understand leverage trading, don't leverage trade. I don't leverage trade. Why would I rip into my own portfolio? So yes, J-Legs, ISO coin is Shiba, and you're not going to find it on the internet. You got to look through the white papers and add it and read what each independent one is about. The only ones you're going to see in the white papers right now is XRP, XLM, XDC, ALGO, IOTA, Quant, ADA. You'll get rumors about. But you're not going to see it for every single one of them. I think I said IOTA already. It's a big thing where you're not going to see a lot about it. And as much as it, what is it? Shiba's in it as well. I mean, Doge. And one day everybody's going to realize it. No, yeah, even if you tried to find it, you're not going to be able to find it. Nah, honestly, Stacy, I think Hayden, that's the thing that sucks. I think he can read the charts. I think he's so corrupted, though, by all of his paid promotions that he doesn't know what to say anymore. Now he gets confused on his own charts. I think you know what? I stand corrected. I think he used to be able to read the charts. And now with all of the promotions and paid promotions he does, I think he forgot how to read the charts. No, I didn't say it's going to say it in there, Darren. I said you have to put together what you're reading in the white papers. Look at what their technology's made for. It's made for a digital cross. And if you look at the framework of Shiba, it actually correlates very nicely with the ISO HTML. You're right, Farrakhan, and that's what most people on YouTube do. I get all day long. I'm gonna try to find something on Shiba, and when I do, if I can find anything concrete, I'm gonna share it. I don't even care if it's 50% factual. Yep, absolutely, Q. That's a great way to go down, and you just have to. And the easiest way, well, it's not easy, but one of the best ways that I found when I correlate some of these, look at their framework. They either can match the ISO framework or they can't. So there's a lot of them. If you go through and you just look at their basis and how they're actually designed and how they run, their protocols are all wrong. So they're just going to be gone. And those are most of your meme coins. Like the cum rocket and all those are all going to be gone. Well, maybe not. Tokenomics actually is starting to have its own little thing. So who am I to judge? Shift pod, $25. I don't know what I did to earn that, but I really appreciate that. Holy smolies. What's going on here tonight? We must have like we're all excited because the numbers are coming in good, but geez, let's see what the DXY is doing. See? It's still trying to make it up to where I called out. I think that's a phenomenal call because I think now that it broke that, don't you guys think it's going to go up to 96.23 and we're about to have another drop? Here we go. I think this just confirms it right before I leave. Successful cup, just like we talked about with XRP. Right? Maybe the DXY comes up to here and that's the last part of it. There we go. That's going to be just like I called earlier when it came down here and I said we're about to dump in crypto and then this did this. Same thing. Right? I think this is proof that that's bullish off of that cup and handle and it's going to come up to the 96.2238 like we called out. I think that's going to lead to the last part of this drop. XRP Future Millionaire, one step ahead. Man, oh man. I'm considering just like you guys putting in a little bit on Shiba. Oh man. It's just that section, but I mean, I would look at the white papers first so you know what you understand, what you're looking at as far as if you're even going to buy something. But yeah, if you want to understand the conversion or the correlation, absolutely, Darren, absolutely. But I actually read all the white papers first before I understood the HTML, so because I knew white papers before I even understood ISO. Knowledge is power. There's no wrong answer there, my friend. D-Man, welcome in. Yeah, the DXI, when it pumps, we always dump in crypto. And when it dumps, we always pump in crypto. I don't know why. Wait a minute. No, I don't even know what your question was, Kenny. I'm sorry. Be right back. I need to check my... Well, actually, you know what? I need to go, though. I do need to go because it's my son's bedtime. But it's been a pleasure. It's been an honor. I appreciate everybody tuning in. I appreciate the 98 likes. So if anybody hasn't hit a like, we need 2 more to 100. And I will keep you guys updated in the Telegram. And I will more than likely do an update in a little bit. So I appreciate each and every one of you. And this has been a absolutely fantastic live stream. It's awesome. Look, Mom, I'm doing it. Can you believe it? I'm doing it with all these people. 102 likes.